ladies and gentlemen, would you please put your hands together for the very talented, very beautiful, the one and only, it's Rae Jepsen, folks. Have a seat. Have a seat. We promised it, and we delivered. Carly is right here, folks. Carly, how you doing? Welcome to Singapore.
Thank you so much. It's amazing to be here. It's my first time.
First time. How are you adapting to this humidity and heat?
Well, so far I love it. Coming from Canada, I'm used to the cold, so this is a nice change, actually.
Awesome. Oh, and you had a chance to try any of the local food and stuff? Really well known for the food down here.
Not yet, but I have big plans for today. We're going to explore as much as possible, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so the Social Media Awards, what a fantastic opportunity it is for artists and fans alike, where they get to see their favorite artists, and social media view is massive too. I mean, people follow you online. It's important to you, isn't it?
It is. I feel like it's one way to have a personal connection with your fans. For me, I've always ran my own Twitter and Facebook. I felt like that was an essential part of feeling like there was sincerity behind all those connections.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Carly, because I'm going to sit down here. I don't like there you go, a little more comfortable now. Okay, yeah, so it's a great way for you to be able to connect with your fans.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, it's the fans that matter, you know. They're the ones that drive you, the ones that make you get up out of bed every morning and make you do what you want to do.
Exactly. When I'm writing music, I'm thinking of two things. One, what feels sincere, and what is the type of music that I would want to listen to. And I feel like having that connection with the fans helps me kind of get in their heads and hearts as well, and helps me be a better writer.
Absolutely. So, I mean, okay, call me maybe. You've had this conversation, I don't know how many hundreds of times already, but we got to touch on that. I mean, did that just totally trip you out? I mean, the popularity and the rapid rate in which people were singing it, and there's all these parodies now online on YouTube and everywhere. Does that trip you out?
It was a very surreal experience. I can remember first putting Call Me Maybe out within Canada, and my hope for it was that it would crack the top 10 on iTunes there in my own country. And when I saw it not only went to #1 there, but in 37, 47 different countries, it blew my mind. It's been the adventure of a lifetime. I don't think I'll ever forget this past year.
Do you, you sit at home when you have downtime in your busy schedule, do you sit at home and do you kind of look online? I'm curious to see how many other parodies there are of my song online today.
Actually, my parents, my family have been really sweet about that. My mom always sends me the latest and greatest Call Me Maybe parody. And it's been cool to see just how diverse it gets. There'll be really kind of fun, flirty ones that are just a bit more lighthearted. And then I've actually seen some covers that are done where it's actually with harps and orchestras, and you're just thinking, wow, how many different souls this has touched. It's really incredible feeling.
Absolutely right. And you've touched a lot of souls out here in Singapore and indeed across Asia as well. With that said, I'd like to open the floor to some Q&A. Would you mind answering some questions? I know you got a lot of fans out here, so please remember, if you got a question for Carly right now, raise your hand, tell us where you're from, and ask away. So first question, guys. Drew, you got a question? Oh, you're just high vibe. Right there, yes. Darling in the back row.
Hi Carly, I'm Serene from the Straits Times. You have lots of young teenage fans, so what's your most memorable memory from being a teenager, and what would you like to tell your teenage fans here in Singapore?
It's a good question. I can remember when I first ever got a chance at a starring role in a musical. I think that was the most exciting experience of my teenage years. I got to play Sandy in Greece, and I remember I was the principal's daughter in high school, so I was very much a goody-goody. I'd never done anything that Sandy does at the end, where she wears high heels and smokes cigarettes and all those things. So I played the first version of Sandy quite perfectly, but when I had to become the rebellious, sexy version of Sandy, I was sort of like a duckling. I had no idea what to do. And I can remember my family coming and just laughing hysterically at me trying to walk around in heels and not knowing how to manage myself. And I would say that there was something fun about that. I would say to young girls everywhere, a couple things. Number one, that it's important to not try to be anything outside of yourself, to stick true to who you are. And when it comes to things that are a little adventurous and outside the box, to be brave and to try it, because there's nothing more exciting about life than also getting to experiment.
Thanks, Carly. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Yes, lady in the back there.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Charmaine from Hot FM 91.3, and obviously you're here for these social Star Awards. You're very influential on social media. You reply your own tweets and things like that. But social media is not always a really kind place. You get lots of encouragement, but you also get lots of random haters, right? So what's been the most encouraging thing ever said to you online, and how do you deal with all that negativity that comes your way?
I think that was actually a really good lesson I learned with Canadian Idol. That was sort of my first ever real taste at any sort of media exposure. And you learn very quickly a couple things. Number one, how important it is to define yourself as different compared to all the other contestants. And number two, that it's really important in this business to have what I like to call alligator skin. Listening to the judges every night at the end of a performance, you would get a lot of good things and you would get some critical things. And I think the difference is hearing what can be helpful advice and what is just plain mean. And filtering those out and deciding, okay, this is something that can help me be a better performer, and this is something that I need to shield against because there's no useful point in kind of investing in it. And I've learned that and carried that lesson over to everything that I do regarding the media. I shelter myself as much as possible from going too far into that world, and I keep my focus on the music. And when I see positive things, I take it with a grain of salt just as much as I see the negative, because I know it's just people's opinion and they're entitled to it.
And you're obviously very down to earth. You're not letting it get to your head that you're so big, socially and musically. How do you stay grounded?
Oh, well, thank you, first of all. I think that's kind of been one of the important goals for me. I think, learning about this business as I've gone along, I can see the downfalls of it. And I think the main goal for me is making great music, and right up there next to it is also holding on to who I am as a person and not letting it get to my head. But I have a lot of great tools to help me with that. I have an amazing team who are more like friends than just co-workers, and I don't think they'd ever let me get too big-headed. So I'm lucky to have them.
Thank you, Carly.
Thank you. Josh, I remember you. You got a question?
I'm Josh from Hot FM as well. Hi, Carly. Oh my God, you're looking at me. Okay. Well, you know, people work so hard to break through into the industry, and you did a freaking stampede right through. Hey, I just met you. You know, so how is it like being Carly Rae Jepsen today? Can you ever have a bad day? I mean, you're having such an exciting time.
Oh, well, thank you. It's been incredible. I don't think I've ever worked so hard in my entire life. It is an incredible amount of work, but that being said, it's first and foremost my passion. So if it wasn't, it would be a very unbalanced life that I'm leading. But because of the fact that this is something that excites me and fires me up every morning, the lack of sleep and even the sacrifice of not getting to see my family and friends as often as I would like to, it becomes one that I'm willing to make. And luckily I have the type of people in my life who are willing to have Skype dates and phone calls with me. And it keeps me fired up enough to kind of keep trucking and feeling very lucky that I'm in the position that I'm in.
You're awesome. Please follow me on Twitter.
I will.
Thank you very much, Josh. Any other questions for Carly while we still have her on stage, folks? Actually, I got a question for you, Carly, and that is this, is that, you know, with the amount of people who are breaking through, musical artists online and whatnot, do you ever think about maybe looking at videos online, you think, wow, that guy or that girl has got an amazing voice or they're an amazing talent? Do you ever think about maybe collaborating with other YouTube artists?
I hadn't really up until now. I think that there is this little pay it forward feeling inside me that does feel like one day when I'm in the position to do so, it would be great to do what Justin did for me and acknowledge another artist for sure. But I definitely feel like that's a position that I have to earn first in order to be able to do that in the right way. Being signed to a label is an incredible thing, and it's an incredible responsibility to be that label. So I'd need to be in a spot where I could really make sure that I could see the artist through and confidently ask them to come with me and know that I could provide well for them.
Thanks, Carly. All right, guys, last chance. Any other questions before we let Carly leave? All right, well, thank you very, very much, Carly Rae Jepsen. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up once again